Oh, yes, guys, we should be live. What's happening? We're back. All three of us are back after like a month. People have been speculating. Where is Ivan? Did Ivan get fired or did Ivan abandon? No, guys, it's way simpler. I was traveling. I was also sick, but now we're back. We're back, and Bitcoin is also back. It's at 72K. So obviously, we're gonna talk about Bitcoin. We're gonna talk about this whole market, altcoins, Solana, ETH, Algorand, which James loves. He loves Algorand, not really. Anyway, we're gonna be discussing all of that. Big welcome everyone who is watching live. How are you doing? Let us know if everything is working. And on this note, CTO James, welcome. How are you doing? Let's start with you, CTO, then go to James.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think everyone watching can guess how I'm doing at 72,200.
That's awesome. He's smiling very, very big. And James, how are you?
Good. Crazy markets. Coffee with friends. Thank you for being here and welcome back. I'm glad you're feeling better, buddy.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know what happened. This was like quite a bad flu I had or something. But yeah, now I'm fully back. And also last week, CTO and I, we met in Portugal, where CTO visited our offsite and preached about Bitcoin and his life. So that was awesome. And yeah, let's get into it, guys. Let's start with Bitcoin. We are now in price discovery. I mean, officially in price discovery. It's way above all-time high, and it's continuing to pump. It doesn't want to take it easy, consolidate. It's just up and up and up. What's interesting is that, I mean, it is quite unprecedented in one way. If you look on monthly, the amount of green candles, it's insane. Like the bullishness in this space is starting to become historic. I don't know if we've had this before many times, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th candle. And I mean, as you can see, it's super strong also. Not only that is the 7th, it's also super strong, pushing higher and higher, now in price discovery. How do you guys view this? Let's go let's go to you, James, and then to CTO with the analysis.
Well, one thing as well. Last month was the biggest candle ever for Bitcoin, Feb 2024, and I've been talking a lot about how, a lot of people think it's all about. It's just basically all about the money. It's all about the ETFs. That's it. Period. The money flow coming into the space is unprecedented. The level of hardness and the level of illiquid supply is unprecedented. And that's what we have here. We have a lot of other news as well that broke today. Saylor bought another 12,000 Bitcoin. He issued $800 million at 0.65% to buy 12,000 Bitcoin. And then you got the ETFs absorbing 10,000 Bitcoin a day. So, we here have been stressing to people since the teens of Bitcoin price that, get on the train. This is going up. The only way is up. Now we've never been more certain the only way is up. Now the numbers get really crazy. Like I did a video on halving targets, and I'm pretty convinced we could be at 99,000 in 40 days, which sounds completely ridiculous.
Wait. 99K in 40 days?
Yes, by the halving.
Well, why not 100? Why just below 100?
It's a safer number because sometimes at 100, that's a psychological selling area for some people that need to buy a house or need to buy that dream car or need to pay for lawyers for a divorce or something like this. You never know. So that's why. But literally, and that is just assuming if the ETF money flows continue at half the level they are today. That's it.
Yeah.
So it is a crazy time. Over to you, CTO.
And the markets are front-running the ETF buying because every Monday, I mean, we're joking that the markets are front-running the DCA because it pumps on every Monday, but it seems to be front-running BlackRock buying. Like, is there any truth in that, you guys think?
Well, there is the T+1 situation. So sometimes the ETFs could be selling shares on a Friday. They can't fill their bags until a day or two later. And that's what typically happens. Also, we have other buyers in the market. It's no secret. Nayib Bukele met with the heads of Qatar. Yep. And they're coming in. And everybody watches everybody. And they've seen how El Salvador has turned into a super success story in a few years. And everybody wants a piece of that. So we'll see.
And by the way, CTO, before we go into your chart, what do you think about my technical analysis prediction with the arrow? Is the arrow big enough or not big enough in this picture?
I can't see the price, but probably go bigger.
Over to you, CTO.
Yeah, bigger is better. So I think it's very funny to see on social media some of these people trying to short this and so on. There is no basis for that. There is no basis from a logic perspective. There is no basis from a fundamental money flow perspective or from technical analysis perspective. It makes no sense. It's amateurs, I think, who's trying to gamble in something, because what this is that we had a very strong uptrending channel, as I show here. Then that broke out. Okay, then the target is the height of another channel, which is of the same height. And that becomes up here somewhere, 87, 86, up towards maybe 90,000, depending on when we get there. So interestingly, actually, on 20th of April, around the halving, this would become 92, which is pretty close to James 99 then, in that case. So this is a super strong uptrend. Of course, there could be corrections. Things like that could happen. We had a small correction here of 15% last week, but it was immediately absorbed. And we're now in price discovery. So this is price discovery. That means that there's no real resistance of bag holders who bought at some level. And then if the price hits there again, they sell. Like we saw maybe a couple of days ago here when price hit exactly the previous all-time high. There were some orders there that came out on the market. People wanting to take profits there or whatever, get out of the market. But now there are no such, because now it's in price discovery. This is an uptrend. It can't possibly look any better from a TA perspective. And will we never get any retracements again? I don't really subscribe to that. I think there will be some manipulation. There will be some retracements. And I see those as the best opportunities we will get if we miss the entries. The real entries that we talked about here on this channel. If someone missed that and they are just now coming into this space, they're looking for entries. Okay, any retracement we get, that would be then an ideal entry from here, because target is higher from a technical pattern perspective. The trend is up. We have the whole post halving ahead of us. Money flow is still super strong on the ETFs. I'm sure we will talk about that later. And it couldn't possibly look any better here, guys.
And by the way, speaking about price discovery, I always look at this chart from last bull market. So it took us, like a few months here to really go above the previous high. But once we did it significantly, or this is on a monthly scale, and we really moved above 20K, very soon we were at 60K. Here we broke it in December, and then just a few monthly candles later, we did the 3x. So price discovery is very powerful, and I think that many people don't really understand. They think, now it's 70, maybe it's gonna go to like 75. It's gonna go to 80, but really it's it can be hundreds of percent, because this price is like no one knows. There's just there's no resistance. There's just flying to the upside.
Because a way to understand that psychology, why is it like that then? Okay, because price is set by the behaviors of the buyers and the sellers. And who in their right mind today, when price is 72,000 and the chart looks like this, and the trend is up on every single time frame, hourly, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly, pick any time frame, yearly, it's up and there's no resistance. Who wakes up today and thinks, okay, I should sell now? There will always be someone, but I think most people know. They wake up happy today and feel excited. They don't want to sell a single SAT today. So who is selling? The answer is not many. And then when there are still buyers coming in, there's still inflows, price can go up a lot. That's why it seems so insane that the market cap goes up by hundreds of billions. Where are those 100 billions are coming from? They're coming from nowhere. You don't need to put in 100 billion for the market cap to go up 100 billion. Perhaps you only need to put in a couple of 100 million if no one is interested in selling that day. So that's the psychology. And then, like James said, perhaps there will come those levels, 100K maybe. A lot of people are thinking if price goes to 100K, I'm going to sell some, take some profit. Okay, then there will be some sellers. Then maybe the market behaves differently. Or if there is a instigated dip and people start panicking, it's like, oh no, it's going down. I panic sell. I need to panic sell. Okay, then there are sellers. So this is a good way to think about it, to explain what is happening with the price. How can it be trillions and trillions? Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. And James, you mentioned the MicroStrategy buying. They don't think it's too late to buy. They're still adding to their bag. And you said that they are borrowing at 0.6%, while otherwise interest rates are way higher now. So is it that the market really wants to give them money so much that the supply and demand of the capital markets, if you want to raise funds for Bitcoin, is there's so much supply of capital that wants in that the interest rate is so low? Or how does that work? Like, how can they raise at 0.6%?
Well, it's convertible debt. So basically, they have the option then afterwards to buy the shares at a discounted price. That's how it works. So people are getting on the MicroStrategy train early, and they're willing to give money just to get on the train and have that optionality in the stock in the future, which is very clever. He did it, I think, over 2 years ago when we were in the ZIRP, the zero interest rate environment. He borrowed $1.05 billion at 0% for 7 years. it's like nuts. It's like, and then what did he do with the money? He bought Bitcoin. I mean, it's the most beautiful arbitrage. You borrow at 0%, you go short fiat, and you go long Bitcoin. It's just it's almost so dumb and so obvious. You'd wonder why everybody doesn't do it. It's crazy. So,
and some people are calling it the speculative attack against fiat, that you borrow the cheap, worthless fiat, you put it in Bitcoin, and then you're part of devaluation, I guess, in one way or another. And what is the significance of this? I mean, I can tell from my perspective, when I see Sailor that and he keeps buying, it's a signal that the OGs are still bullish. It's not that, if you're new to this market and you buy now, that you're buying Sailor's bag and he's gonna dump on you. So I think from a signal perspective, this is quite important, so that everyone sees that Michael Saylor, who's been here for years, buying for years, he's still buying. What else is important about this in your opinion?
Well, it just shows you the arms race is on. I have and in full disclosure, my biggest position, it started at less than 5%. Now I'm way over 40% of everything that I have is MicroStrategy, which is kind of sick. So I think there's a couple of things here. I do have another slide on him. Well, you saw this as well, adding to their bag, but it's an arms race now. It's like the ETFs and Sailor and maybe some sovereign entities and the Bitcoin miners. They're all grappling for this very scarce asset. 900 are being made a day. Less than 80% are being sold by miners. In fact, there are sovereign entities that are mining with their local energy that they have for free that nobody knows about because they're not public companies. And they have free electricity and they're not selling their Bitcoin. So people think 900 are being issued a day, but very few are hitting the market. And there's I heard 3 messages as well last week from people in the know. 3 people who are either heads of mining companies or adjacently consulting with mining companies. And they all said OTC desks for the first time ever are calling them up saying, hey, you got some of that Bitcoin. You got some of that Bitcoin. Like, the meme with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Scratching himself and looking for something. Literally, it's we are here. We are at supply crunch. I said maybe we get a supply crunch in December 2024. It's happening now in March. It's madness. So yeah, price has to go up. That's it.
And from a bigger perspective, also, it feels that more and more people are realizing that the Fiat system is a Fugazi. I know we've been speaking about it for a long time, but the average Joe doesn't really get it in the same way, or at least if you're not interested in finance, you don't even think about it. But now, more and more people across the world are realizing that something is wrong. More and more people in finance are starting to also doubt the system. And we are seeing right now this crazy exponential numbers that there is 1 trillion added to the US debt every 100 days.
Yep.
So, just think 3 months ago, basically, Christmas times, another trillion added. And also they added trillion. They have so high interest rate that they have to borrow even more to pay the interest rate. So it really grows exponentially. Soon it's going to be 1 trillion every 50 days, every 10 days, and maybe soon every day.
Yeah.
So how do you guys think this will this will end, and when?
And now I think what is different is that national banks start seeing this also, because another thing has changed. The last week, actually, if I can share the screen, gold has broken out after 4 years of trying. This goes back, this kind of topped out, the big bull market topped out back here in 2011, then it went down like this. And then look here, since August 2020, then again, March 2022, couldn't break out. May 2023, couldn't break out. December 2023, couldn't break out. Now it has broken out. Gold is also in price discovery, because now central banks and those kind of entities are buying up gold here. So I know, I mean, it's fun to make fun of Peter Schiff and everything, but this is good for Bitcoin, guys. This is good because this means that big players in the traditional finance market are also starting to doubt a little bit the fiat stability. They see these trillions, which is real money then in debt. This is not market cap, what Ivan showed there, that's real money. And if the first step is maybe not to go and buy Bitcoin for these central banks, right? The first step is to buy some kind of hard money that they feel will hold its value. And for them, that is gold. And that will help digital gold also, which has kind of the same value proposition. It's just digital instead of physical. So this is huge, guys. If you haven't followed the commodities market and so on, this is gigantic, this breakout. After 4 years or 15 years, depending on how you look at it, it actually happened. And here we are.
There's also another interesting point regarding gold. It took gold 3 years to reach, I think, $90 billion in assets under management. 3 years. The Bitcoin ETFs will get there in 60 days.
Yep. Exactly.
And it's like insane how fast they're growing.
That's great. And now with ETF asset under management is like half or 30. I mean, it's like almost half, if not more at this point. And the thing is, anything that can happen is good for Bitcoin. This is how I'm thinking. They increase interest rate. Okay, that's great for Bitcoin because this Fugazi just keeps... it will keep Fugaziing even faster because the interest rate expenses will grow. If they decrease the rates, okay, risk on assets are gonna grow. Bitcoin is both, like we've been speaking about this before. It's both risk on and also risk off because it's the future. No matter how you look at the world, there is no world without Bitcoin. So it fits in every financial narrative. And you were sharing this, James.
Yeah, first of all, I've been saying it's the life raft. Fiat is a melting ice cube. This just came out from Gabor as well. He said, Bitcoin's greatest achievement of educating hundreds of millions of people around the world about how broken the fiat money system is. First thing, very, very important. It's a lifeboat, life raft. Everybody's saying the same thing right now as well. And what's also interesting is shots fired against the anti-democratic party, the left. The candidate Trump just said there's been a lot of use of Bitcoin. His advisors are very clever. It's not him. He doesn't like Bitcoin. He likes the dollar, but he knows what to say to get elected. And he's saying, I'll accept payments. You can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. I'll do all this. So he's become a pro-Bitcoiner, which has boxed the left into the corner. The Warrens, the Genslers, all these crypto haters saying it's not good. People want freedom. And that's critical. Now, the people with tons of money or the boomers, they have nearly 100 trillion of assets. And now they're beginning to deploy because their financial advisor says, put 1% in here, put 2% in here, whatever. That's all happening. And I have one more slide in a second. Microsoft is going to 3,000. Where is it? I think it's towards the end. Debt explosion. As per what you said, this is a projected debt heading to 200% of GDP. And this is from the CBOE, which is extremely wrong in their projections. They're very conservative. They don't want people to know how broken the government is. But we are way beyond the point of no return. Debt is exploding and there's no way back. And the only chance for people right now is Bitcoin. And people now realize that. And it's going to be a continuous flow. A lot of people say, well, it's going to retrace, it's going to dip, etc. It's like, what they don't understand is people now allocate with pension funds. People allocate with DCA in these massive 401ks and RSAs and SSAs and ISAs and whatever they are all around the world. It's an automatic bid that hits every single day, every single week. They'll just drive the price north. There is no coming down. There might be after a big bubble or something, but it's just a very, very exciting time to be alive. And everything's happening, as we've said here on the channel many times for the last year and a half, higher and earlier than before.
And what about the effect on the cycle? Because now, I mean, we're talking about 99K before the halving, well, around the halving. What's gonna happen in the coming 4 years? Do you guys still believe in the 4-year cycle? Like, are we gonna have another bear market, or are we not gonna have it? Last time people said super cycle, they were wrong.
Yeah.
So how do you guys view it this time?
Well, there is a lot of historic data that supports things. Like every time we reach an all-time high, Bitcoin doubles in 18 days on average. Okay. So you guys both know that. That's big news. But we've never been at such a level of hardness with so little available for sale. That's the difference this time. It's a perfect storm, as I say. CTO, what do you think?
Yeah, I think right now we're in a very positive situation. It couldn't possibly be any more positive than it is now. So I think it will continue higher, perhaps with some retracement if we're lucky. But at some point later, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a straight line forever like that debt chart we're looking at here. No, I don't think so. I think the speculative element of Bitcoin will always be there. And these big financial institutions, they are the master speculators, So I do think that this amazing inflow we have now, at some point there will be panic setting in. Oh no, Bitcoin is a scam. It's backed by nothing. It's going to zero. And these people buying now, they're going to sell again. They want to pull their money out of that, and Bitcoin will nosedive, and the whole Twitter will be full of people saying it's going to zero or almost zero, and then it retraces. Previously, it has always retraced 80%. Don't know if it will be the same, but much more than people think. Yeah, I think so. I think that will happen again. And that's the next buying opportunity. Then us three will sit here again, maybe in a couple of years, and say, but actually it's looking pretty good. Maybe we're turning around here. The trend is starting to turn up, and there's no one watching. There's almost no one watching on the YouTube channel because everyone have given up on this stupid idea with Bitcoin, and it was just a scam and so on. And then it starts again. So yeah, that's my base bet. But I don't think it happens now. I think that's maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah. Let me share some things here. So my number one thing, as long as these guys are printing, and they printed a lot. So we had March 10th, another one on March 10th. So it's not the same one. There are two different ones on the same day. So 2 billion right there. Also, USDC is printing quite big amounts. They normally don't do this big. And I just remember, I like thinking in simple terms, because market is quite simple. Like, is the trend up? Is Tether printing? You don't have to overcomplicate it. And I remember last bull market, this was like the most important signal. As long as they are printing, it is bullish. Also, I thought this thought was quite interesting from Christian Ander, who is quite well known in Sweden, in Bitcoin circles. So he noticed that now Norway is going back to cash. They go away from digital, or at least this mania, or this hysteria that no cash, ban all cash, only digital payments. Now Norway is going back on that strategy. Instead, they are now potentially mandating cash, that you have to accept it as an option. And Christian says paper cash is the central bank's only unique selling point. If they quit cash, there's nothing more they can offer, only inflation. And this is kind of true, because if it's digital, You have it in your portfolio. You have USD, BTC, you have Geo, Boden, and all of the other memes. It just becomes another digital thing, and you can actually compete with crypto in the digital arena. So maybe the only way for them to have some kind of product market fit, which is truly unique, it is still in the paper world, and try to really contain the world from going too digital. Because if it goes to digital, there's no room for them. So how do you guys see it? Do you think that this connection makes sense? And do you think that more countries are going to go back to papers as a way to at least protect their selling points?
It's very interesting. I don't know if looking at some countries like, say, China, they've gone even more digital than here. Like, if you don't have the right apps, you cannot go to 7-Eleven and buy a soft drink. You will not get the soft drink if you don't have the app. So everything is tracked. Privacy doesn't exist. You are like cameras everywhere. All your economic transactions are put in a giant database so you can control everything. Okay, so that's one extreme. The question is if we want that in the Western world or not. I don't know what the answer is, but it's like a decision for the politicians. Because China has already implemented it. So that's the extension of the complete control. And then I think most people in the Western world feel that, no, we don't want that. We want some kind of limited privacy, at least. You can go to the shop and buy a beer without it being traced, perhaps. So if that should be possible, it has to be with cash, I suppose. And then, yeah, there could be a use case for that. But I feel like most people in Sweden, they don't care. Most people in Sweden, they haven't seen cash in a year, basically. So there doesn't seem to be a huge demand for this use case from the consumer perspective.
Yeah, that's true. But something very interesting is that if we enter the denial stage, so CTO, when we were in Lisbon last week at Offsite, you spoke about that when there's a new thing like Bitcoin and crypto, the old industries, the people that don't want any change, they deny, then they try to fight it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So just like there is quite a movement against globalization today, where people felt that, oh man, I lost my job. It's all in China now. Bring back manufacturing, bring back the jobs. I mean, there has been a whole movement during the last maybe 5 to 7 years as a reaction to this change in the world, and to also digitalization in a way where people want, where is my factory? I want the physical stuff back. That's where I can work. And the governments and crypto, I wonder if they will try to stop the time. Let's come back. Like, this digital stuff, it's too scary. Like, we don't know how to compete there, how to work there. Let's bring it back. You said you want cash. Maybe old people, old voters who really are uncomfortable with this digital stuff. But I agree with you. Sweden is a bad example because everyone is digital there. No one wants cash. How is it in the US, James? You think that there is some demand for cash, or there is zero as well there?
Yeah, so it all goes back to the normies. Most people don't realize what's going on. I'd say only 6 to 8% understand exactly where the world is going. So most people use credit cards, but there is a lot of cash-based unbanked society here. I think the US has 5 million new people coming in every year across the border. And that's a very big cashless society. They do kind of gig economy just for cash. I know people who insist on just being paid in cash, people who are kind of like being off the grid, or it benefits in kind. I know one person who's sitting on a treasure trove of cash, and he can't, if he could hit a magic wand and turn into Bitcoin in a heartbeat, he would, but he can't because of all this. I think the future will be some type of KYC-less digital credit card. And that could be a game changer for the world. If there's the fiat on-ramp, fiat off-ramp problem needs to be solved. It will be solved. It's already almost solved. And once that happens, everybody will go to crypto. Everybody will opt out of the system, and it'll just get bigger and better. Government control will wane. Government manipulation will wane, and the world will become a freer, better place.
It's a very interesting point, Ivan, that you bring up. Like, good luck for a small country with their small currency, such as any of the basically Scandinavian country. Good luck competing on the digital domain against a global cryptocurrency used by the whole world with thousands of developers, 100,000 integration points, one global money on the internet. Yeah, good luck competing with that. When the whole world is going digital and global on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like controlling the narratives in the society when you have Google and Twitter and you have like your news station, which is maybe some people still watch it because they're used to it, but the new generation doesn't watch it. So the same thing is happening with crypto. Anyway, super interesting stuff that is unfolding, historic shift in the financial world. It's kind of like you read in history book that, there were shells and then people started to use stones and then they start to use paper or like gold coin. And soon in the history book, there's going to be, and then we decide to use global digital money. And we're right there in the history book. So that's fantastic. So let's, sometimes you forget that, man. The changes that are happening are so big and we're right in the middle of it. And it's such a privilege to be able to participate. Anything else from you guys on Bitcoin before we go into alts and into non-Bitcoin?
Just to wrap up on that point, what you just said, Ivan, because maybe there are some people who are new here. And to this date, I have not met anyone, no matter how much crypto hater they are, how much they say Bitcoin is just a scam. I haven't met anyone who can look me in the eye and say that they don't think that global money on the internet has any point or any use case. No one. I haven't met a single person who can say that there's no point with global money on the internet. They can't.
But it's not backed by the government, CTO. It's not backed by it's not issued by the government.
Yeah, of course. We can debate about all those things. But does that's
a common normie argument.
Exactly. But does global money on the internet make sense? Yes or no? Is there a use case for global money on the internet? And I still haven't met a single person who can say, no, there is not. Then we can discuss which is the best implementation, which is this better or CBDC better, or should the government issue it, or should be Bitcoin? That we can debate. There are arguments for or against. But that there is a use case for global money on the internet, not a single person can has anything against, because it so obviously is. Of course it is.
Yeah, and also we have Larry Fink. Let's see if I can find that video. I played it on my channel some day ago, but he's now basically saying what you're saying. He was on TV the other day. The news anchor was saying, "Oh, but it's not backed. You cannot buy pizza with it." And Larry Fink was speaking the Bitcoin talking points in such a good way, and that's insane. And now we also flip silver, like James is showing right here.
Yep, that's the first part. Flipping silver is big, and then Google is next, and Google is not very far away for that to happen. And then it'll go straight up the charts. And the big thing, this is from Thomas. Basically, he believes it's 200x upside for Bitcoin from this stage here, considering 900 trillion in assets. Remember, these assets are also inflating upwards. So that 900 trillion will be, a quadrillion real soon. And Bitcoin will go up too, as these things go up, inflated by fiat. So it's just, as you say, Ivan, don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. It's not hard. Future's bright.
Absolutely. Okay, guys.
By the way, Bitcoin is $20 away from an all-time high again, right now as we speak. $40.
Exactly.
$20. Here we go, new all-time high. Boom, 417. Happened live.
Holy crap, guys.
Yeah, that's the good juju from Ivan.
That's crazy, guys. Yeah. And again, 18 days on average until a doubling.
Yeah.
So we have a doubling in 18 days and the halving of supply in like 30 days or something.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm. There is no better setup. I think CTO, you said that earlier. I called it a perfect storm of ingredients.
And check this. Looking at the normie indicator, let's see here. Coinbase is still number 165. So we don't have any kind of mania in the in retail yet. At least if you measure this as if you use this as an indicator, because Coinbase is always number one, like right at the peak, and we still have quite some way to go. I think this one is also pretty simple and very reliable, because when I think back, bull market is when Tether printing, Coinbase is not number one, and when trend is up. And yeah, just take inverse of that. Tether stops printing, Coinbase #1, then you gotta be careful. So keep an eye on that. And on this note, I mean, I have something to share, which is this freaking coins. Like, this is the first time where the memes are actually funny. Like, this is my kind of humor. Because, I mean, yes, dogs are funny, you know, cat, dog, this and that. But, man, Geo Boden and Dolan, these are for real funny. And also, like you shared before this stream, James, like the number of transactions on Solana and like the Degen activity, it's insane. Like it's crazy. And if we look here, for example, let's see, this is the screener. So if, for example, 24-hour transactions 300, and Solana it's like 7 million. So Degens love Solana. All of this new memes like Geo Boden and all of that, but also stuff like Bonk CTO. I know you found that on Solana also. So when it comes to Degen activity, Solana has really captured it, as is shown by the numbers. And James, you also said that it's only the beginning. Like, there is more on the table for how it's going to be even cheaper and like smoother for trading.
Yes. Well, it basically, Solana right now, she smokes Ethereum on every measure, with the exception of, I think, one. But it's just really, and it's still so early as well. As you just said, with the Coinbase app, we are a long way from the all-time high, and there's a lot more to go. Plus, there's big releases that are coming out that are going to make, I think I have a slide on that from Mert somewhere in here. Hold on a second. Yeah, that one. Fun fact, Solana will be faster, more stable, and cheaper than it is in a few months, which is indicating some of the streamlining they've done of how they prioritize transactions, as well as Fire Dancer. That's all coming, and that'll change the game for everything out there. But if you look at DEX volume and everything else, Solana's trading at 13% of the market cap of Ethereum. And if you add in all of the layer 2s on Ethereum, it's trading at about 8% of the market cap of Ethereum, plus all the ancillary applications, all the duct tape solutions. And everything is happening. You're seeing it right now with the memes, and you're seeing memes as well smoke traditional tokens that people are very bullish about. This is pretty beautiful here from, I think, the CEO or CTO of Algorand, making fun that this too will pass. And again, you got a thing called Whiff, a Solana meme coin, destroying the market cap of Algorand and having infinitely more users as well, by the way. So it's just a very bizarre time out there in the market. A lot of interesting things happening. And yeah.
But psychologically, let me see, where is this Geo Boden? Like, number one, I don't have this meme coins, guys. So in case they rug pull, don't cry here. Like, I'm not shilling them. And I don't have them even, because I felt a bit too late maybe. But I mean, like with all of them, they just keep pumping if they're good and the team doesn't rug. But what do you guys think about this election year and this election connected memes? Because isn't that a way to show like if Geo Boden is pumping more than Donald Trump, isn't that like a signal? Like, if you support the Trump, you buy the Doland.
No,
Like,
it's inverse.
it's a new way of campaigning. Like, I find it interesting.
It's an inverse signal. So the one you want to mock the most has the highest price.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
They should issue two themselves, right? One like the serious one. If you want that one to win, you should buy that one, and one making fun of the other candidate, right?
Yeah.
So that would be
Yeah.
funny.
It's like a whole new subculture with this kind of like art style. And I mean, you guys in the comment section, if you are into this, you probably know it more than we here. But anyway, I mean, from a humor perspective, I think this is like the best memes that this industry has seen, because it's not just another animal.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully they don't rag, and hopefully they continue.
I can
as
say
well
one thing.
to
It's
the
so
election.
fun that this is
Yeah.
happening on Solana, because we talked about it here on the stream so many times. People always say decentralize this and decentralize that. Okay, that's good and all, but most people don't care. They care about that it's cheap, that it's fast and that it is permissionless. Permissionless is not the same thing as decentralized. Decentralized means like nodes, and can someone, unplug it? Is it like some central entity and so on? While permissionless means that you don't need to ask anyone for permission. You can just go and play whatever you want to do without asking anyone. You just need to download some app and do it. That's permissionless. And that people care a lot about. And remember, we had this whole debate already last cycle. That time it was Ethereum and BSC, Binance Smart Chain, which probably was rather centralized. Turned out people didn't care because it was cheaper, faster, and still permissionless. Now we have Solana here, which is even cheaper, even faster, and more decentralized, and still permissionless. And arguably a better user experience, easier to use. You don't need L2 on-ramp, off-ramp, those kind of stuff. So it's easy to understand that this is happening on Solana. Also, this is fun. It's like me playing around. If you have to pay $100 per transaction, it's not fun anymore. Even if you have money, you feel bad. So yeah, easy to understand why it's happening on Solana.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I mean, if crypto wallets can start marketing to retail, I mean, that would be insane. And probably Phantom can do it in a very nice way where you can actually onboard quite nicely without super high fees. You can get people into this decentralized world, kind of like Coinbase is doing, but Coinbase is centralized. But that is an unexplored, I haven't seen it anyway, that crypto native wallets do user acquisition in this kind of like centralized exchanges, but it's into wallets. Probably going to happen within this cycle. Probably also one of the top signals, because Super Bowl ad, if we're to keep it simple, is the end of the bull market. So just keep that in mind, guys. I mean, that's it from my side. Before we go to Q&A,
there's one little piece. Yes, I forgot to mention as well. Another piece of breaking news on the DCA channel. London Stock Exchange to accept applications for Bitcoin exchange-traded notes, which is their version of an ETF, by the way. And we got 22 coming to Hong Kong, which will pull in all the money from China. I mean, it's a nuclear arms race now. And the UK, many people in the UK were very anti-crypto as well for a long time, just like the Democratic left in the US. So now it's at the end of the day, I think the simple term is Bitcoin wins. You can't kill it. It's a cockroach. It'll keep coming back. And either you embrace it or die. It's that simple. So if any political leaders around the world are listening, embrace it.
Yeah, like we've been saying on the channel as well, that it's an opportunity. If you're a political leader, this is your chance to do something that no one else does, kind of like Bukele did in El Salvador. This is the way to stand out. This is a very low risk way, because if you did stand out like 10 years ago, it would be shady. People would be calling you shady, black market, Silk Road, and you promote it. Very shady. But now, man, it's Larry. So you as a political leader, if you're listening to this, you have zero risk. Because, I mean, you can just say Larry is, I mean, the BlackRock. What do you guys want? There is zero risk. So you have zero risk and infinite upside, because you can actually position yourself in a topic, in a space which matters, and be the front runner. Just like Gary Gensler, who is the first SEC chair to approve a Bitcoin ETF. So he is the innovator of the SEC. You can be the same.
By the way, I didn't know what an ETN was really in the UK, but apparently retail investors per GM Gains here in the chat are banned from buying ETNs. It's just for the rich people.
Really? In the UK, maybe?
Yeah, I didn't know that. So very sad.
I mean, in Sweden, you can easily buy ETN. You can, but yeah, in the UK, I don't understand if they're good for crypto, because A16Z has their Europe headquarters in the UK. But also I heard that they banned leverage trading, so you cannot do it. They ban all, well, probably it's the only thing that you cannot do. And people want to do it in crypto. I mean, whether it's good or bad, this and that, there's a whole debate, but people love to do it. You cannot do it in the UK. And maybe you cannot buy the ETNs either, because you can do something irresponsible according to the government. That's it, guys. Something else from you, CTO, before we go into the Q&A?
It's just fantastic. Looking at price action, we were 72,550 here just minutes ago. Incredible.
I got 72,617 on Bitsnap.
It's like we've been sitting here so long for years, thinking about this, and then when it actually happens, it almost feels unreal. We are in price discovery again in Bitcoin. It's a big moment, actually. I think for every one of us who spent so much time being so doubted, every day coming to work thinking about this, and here we are. It's a big moment, actually.
And Ivan, you wanted to talk about the shorts as well. The memes of the shorts is hilarious.
Sorry, which shorts?
Oh, there's so many. There's the Bitcoin haters and Bitcoin short. I won't mention any names, but if you go to Twitter, you see.
Oh yeah, the bearfluencers. Yeah, I mean, I'm joking about bearfluencers, but listen, I mean, we love everyone who is doing content. But by the way, guys, go subscribe to CTO and James below. I put the links because, I mean, if you follow these guys, it's gonna play out, because there are three types of influencers. There is ones that have a bullish strategy in a bull market, like we have. And then there are those that are bullish one day, bearish another day. So this is more for engagement farming. They often don't have a strategy. And then there is a third one. They have a strategy, but it's just like too bearish. and I respect that. Listen, if you have a strategy, it's super conservative, it's bearish. Like, I respect that. But if you guys are watching this, you need to pick like who you should avoid those bearish, bullish each and every other day, because then your brain just gets messed up. Avoid that. But then, like, if you want the bearish, conservative, or bullish like us, just pick one. Because the worst thing, I sometimes see people, they watch DCA, they're excited, but then the Bitcoin price dumps 2K right after DCA, and they're writing, "Oh, Ivan, your prediction aged like sour milk. It was wrong." So then they watch someone else who is bearish, and they shift. Then Bitcoin pumps, and of course now they're like, "Oh man, DCA was right. James, Ivan, CTO, they were right." So now they're back. So you don't want to do that. Just pick a influencer or group of influencers that have a similar strategy and stick to that, because I really don't like this, watch all influencers. Some people say you gotta watch everything so you have all perspectives. But man, you're gonna get so confused.
Yeah.
If you watch everyone and you try to follow everyone, you got to have your own strategy, or at least stick with someone that is consistent. And that's it. And if you want good channels, just follow CTO and James below. That's it.
And Ivan, one point as well for investors out there, the key to making money in markets is to have a strategy and stick with it. When you start swapping things around mid-strategy, that's how you lose. That's why I always say don't chase, replace. Have a stable mindset to the market. If you're schizophrenic, you're going to get wrecked. And that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and we can add one thing here on that shorting, because it's different. Shorting in an uptrend is extremely difficult. There are people who can do it consistently and with success, but those people know they've done it for years. They know exactly what they're doing. They go to work every day and they are successful. It's possible to do. But if you're like amateurish, don't do that. You're not going to be successful consistently. I'm telling you guys, it's not going to work. That's not the same as being conservative. There's a lot of people who feel that, those meme coins is too risky for me. These altcoins are too risky. I take some part of my wealth and I put it in Bitcoin at the best possible conditions. And then I ride it up, and then I step out and so on. You don't lose money by not being fully exposed in something. Just because someone else made more money doesn't mean you lost money. So that's a valid strategy. But shorting against the uptrend means you lose money. That's not the same thing as being conservative. So that's a good perspective. Generally, leverage is pretty difficult. So
yeah,
if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, guys, let's go to Q&A for 10 more minutes. Questions, answers, debates. Some question about BRC20. BRC20s are hard to buy. Will they moon? Well, I mean, we've seen them already moon. The problem is that on Bitcoin, it's very tough to build a DEX. I know projects are trying to do it, but for now, it's only centralized exchange. And that hasn't stopped them from going up. But yeah, be careful. It's a risk to have it on central exchange. But you can have self-custody and only trade on centralized exchange when you need. Anything to add from you guys about BRC20 trading?
Yeah, speed matters, and speed and finality are the two key ingredients for dexes, and Bitcoin's just not designed for that. They'll talk about all these layer twos that will get there, but you look at other chains that can do 10,000 TPS, and they're struggling right now with some of the DEX volume. So
Yeah.
I'll give you an idea.
Yes. This one is quite interesting about the left translated top in May, June. I don't know if you guys follow Bob Lucas. I mean, he has a quite consistent strategy, and he's been staying with. He's been very consistent, so he definitely has a strategy. He speaks about the fact that because now we're all-time high before the halving, we may also find the peak sooner this cycle and spend a bigger part of the cycle going sideways or down. I saw instantly, James, you you don't agree.
I had that question yesterday. It's like these, I don't want to criticize anybody's strategy, but it's about the money flow, okay? And it's the constant bid that's coming in. That's why it's going up earlier and faster. It's not that the whole market is shifting. It's also a function of education. It's also a function of front running. And as I say, there's a 20% chance at least that Bitcoin could keep on going up for 8 years if it follows what gold ETF did. And we've already seen the Bitcoin ETF is already way bigger than the gold ETF, except you know what they do for gold when they want to get a little bit more? They dig a little bit deeper. You can't do that with Bitcoin. It's hard. no matter what the price is, it can't create any more. This is the unique situation of this asset. It's why it's so fascinating. It's the hardest thing on this planet that ever existed in mankind. Get that, everybody. Quick. And be careful who you listen to. So much, I don't know. It's as if people didn't pack their bags and now they're pissed off and they're trying to make excuses and trying to bring the price down. And
Bob Lucas is fully legit. Like he is not. I know there are people like that as well, but he's legit and he's been quite good in the past. And I think
one thing we can say is that it has definitely played out a little bit differently this cycle in relation to the halving. So it could be that things are moving faster this time than previous cycles. In previous cycle, we had half the uptrend before the halving and half the uptrend after the halving. So that would bring us in uptrend until, September 2025, something like that. It could be that's happening faster this time. Who knows? That it goes like, it accelerates in price, but then maybe it also accelerates in time, and that it tops up faster. That is possible. So I think it's legit from that perspective. But
it's so different this time, and it has been different for the last year and a half. Way higher, way earlier. Like we smoked the all-time high, 45 days to the halving. Okay, and historically, way more than 80% of the gains happen after the halving. Bitcoin's up 270% already since the bottom. I mean, it's madness, and it's all driven by the ETF. It's all driven by the talking heads, the TradFi normies coming into the space, the boomer money, the sovereigns, the hodling, the long-term holders, the lack of liquid supply. That's it.
Yeah. And the great thing is that we don't really need to guess. We can see the flows. We can see the inflow. Is it still coming in or not? We can go to x.com and we can see it every day because it's public information. So if this starts reversing, if that starts trending out instead, that's inflows turn into outflows every single day. Okay, then it's a different situation. We don't need to guess. But right now, it's inflows. Every single day, it's inflows. So then price probably continue to go up because more people want to buy Bitcoin and not so many people are wanting to sell. So if that situation changes, okay, it's a different situation then. We can see it.
Yeah, and just so you know, there's 33 million of volume already on the BlackRock ETF. That's $1.35 billion, and we're only less than 2 hours, an hour and a half into the cycle today. Okay, it's massive trading volume. And the day has just begun.
So. And on the past 10 minutes, we have another all-time high here. Should we go on the 5-minute chart and
go to the 30-second chart? 30 seconds.
Exactly. Good, guys. Yeah, for now, definitely up only. And then, like Tito says, I mean, there are a few things. There's ETF inflow, tether printing, Coinbase #1 or not. Like, there are a few things we can keep an eye on. And if you watch this channel, you watch CTO, you watch James, you will be updated with all of the latest about these key pillars of the bull market. What else, guys? We have people being happy that we're back. Let's see. There it is. We are back. Next week we're gonna be on either which one is it, guys? CTO or James channel?
Can't remember.
Yeah.
As we do it every week.
Mine probably next week. Is it? It was James. Was yours last week, wasn't it?
I have no recollection.
I think so. I think it's mine next week, but we will double check.
You were 13 days ago, and yeah, so it's you again. I think. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Oof, we have some personal question from the chat. Let's see. Man, it scrolls so fast. Someone asked, "What's your favorite dishes?" I think it's good that people get to know us a bit personally. The men behind the cam. So over to you guys. What's your favorite food or dishes? And then we can wrap it up. CTO.
I'm a huge fan of Asian food. I must say, Vietnamese food, Pakistani grilled food, those kind of things. I'm not. I think Sweden has really quite lousy food. Honestly, we don't have this thousands years of food culture. Someone standing and mixing the different spices and everything. The Swedish culture is like snow 90% of the year. So you're lucky if you have some potatoes stored in the warehouse. You go out there, you can get the boiler potatoes. You don't die in the cold. And that's the celebration. There was no time to spice it up with something like that. You go to some countries where it's warmer, like in Southern Europe around the Mediterranean or in Asia or something. They've spent like 2,000 years perfecting this recipe, handed down from grandmother to granddaughter 100 times until it is perfect. So that's my preference. And I think that's why, don't come to Sweden for the food.
And you've been a lot in Asia. And also, I remember at the start of the bear market, you published this video from, was it Vietnam, that it's time to let go of the sword?
Yeah, exactly.
Time to let go of the bullishness. That
exactly.
was my picture.
That was one of my best videos. It was around the top, and I tried to convince everyone to, take some profits here and come back later, pick up the sword again from the water at the bottom. No one wanted to listen. They were so angry, everyone. It was most hated video.
Oh yeah, James, what about you? The man behind the show. What do you fuel yourself for top performance?
Well, this will surprise you, but one of my favorite things I cook. That's the way I relax, and I like a vegan borscht. So it's basically onion, carrots, celery, beets, some cabbage.
I mean borscht. They're like the Russian borscht.
Yes, purple cabbage, and it's actually bay leaves. It's a detox menu. And I do it very clean, but it tastes delicious, and it's extremely good for your liver. And I think, I learned about borscht, I think my first time in Moscow or St. Petersburg. But I don't do the sour cream on it or anything like that. But it's extremely good for you. And I have a theory. I'd like to ask you what you think. So it's famous that Russians drink a lot of vodka. They also eat a lot of borscht, and they never have liver problems. And I have a weird theory that the actual borscht, the beets, actually cure the liver. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, many people have all kinds of problems. Like the life expectancy is lower, but yeah, maybe there is something to it to extend it. But that's awesome. Like I didn't know that. That's a very good question, Daniel. By the way, thanks for asking. And for me, I love the steak. I love the steak. It's fantastic. And it's in all kinds of forms. It's great. And some people tell me, "Hey, Ivan, you gotta go vegan. You gotta do it." And listen, I'm open to trying. Maybe I will try the vegan borscht. But are you vegetarian fully or not, James? Because someone said you look great at 67. You look like 38. Maybe we should all switch to vegan borscht.
It's I always stress, health is wealth. Everybody we are in a very exciting time. The focus is live as healthy as you can, exercise every day, walk 10,000 steps, eat things that are not processed, and the best things are kind of vegetables, fresh organic vegetables as much as possible. And both my parents died of cancer, so I'm very that makes you very health oriented and very risk averse when it comes to things like processed foods and high nitrate foods and GMO foods and that type of stuff.
But everyone says different. Like some people already see in the comments, they say, "Oh, vegan unhealthy." I always hear, "Oh, meat unhealthy." Whatever you say, you do. Oh, that's unhealthy. On the stream, I showed accidentally that. I drink from a plastic bottle. People, oh, plastic bottle! You drink from plastic bottle. All the microchemicals. How do you know what's true and what's not true? Because there is an opinion on everything. Everything is bad if you listen to someone.
Yeah. Well,
I
how do you know
it? I have a friend who's a doctor. He's like a heart surgeon and so on and so forth. And I asked him one time because we, eat rice. And in Sweden at the time, there was a lot of talk that there is some unhealthy substances in rice. And he said, it's only when you don't have any problem that you start worrying about stuff like that. I mean, go look at Asia. They're still alive. They eat rice all the time. So, I mean, quit worrying about stuff like that. It's the big strokes that matter. For example, if you're very overweight, you weigh like 400 pounds, 200 kilo, you don't exercise, you know that you have a health problem. Okay, that's a real problem. That's a real health risk for heart disease. They need to do something about it. But all these small things, his point is that it doesn't matter. Try the big strokes. Do some exercise every day. Try not to, be this big. Do those things that matter, and then forget about if you drink the water from that plastic bottle or that plastic bottle. I'm not saying there are not poisonous plastics. There are. I mean, you shouldn't drink water every day from a poisonous plastic bottle. That's not what I'm saying. But worry about the big strokes, and exercise is probably the biggest life hack of all. Do some daily exercise, take a walk, something like that. So we get to stay in this market.
I posted actually last week, or I will, maybe I forgot. But if you walk at least 9,000 steps a day, you increase your longevity by 5 to 6 years. Now, the question you ask yourself, do you want to live 5 or 6 years longer and enjoy the Bitcoin price going up? Yeah. The answer is yes. So everybody, buy a little pedometer, the little Fitbit things. This is my Rolex. It costs $99. The screen is broken, but it doesn't matter. It still works. But now the battery lasts longer because the screen is broken. And over years, it's another life hack. And literally monitor how many steps you do every day. Try get 9,000 in. I know it might be a struggle for some, but just make that your goal, as well as your DCA goal and everything else, your eating goal. Stay away from anything that's cheap and fast is bad. So
I heard one quote that really stuck with me and has changed my life a little bit. Like, if you don't make time for exercise today, you have to make time for sickness later. So that's the two choices. Which one is it you're gonna do?
That's a good one. And also, there's this thought experiment. Imagine if you can get Warren Buffett's wealth, but you also get his age. Would you accept it? Probably not, because he's 90 something. And would he accept if he could go back and be 30 again, but not have any money? Would he accept? He would. So money only matters if you can, if you have the health to and the age to enjoy it. Also, we have one paid question. I'm afraid to ask it because I know James will not like it.
Oh no,
guys. What about
72,700 guys? I saw the Chainlink question. All right.
Well, I mean, listen, Chainlink is top of mind for many people. So as bull market continues, it's likely to do well. But James, I know you do not like it.
No. I've nothing against Chainlink. I want that to be clear, everybody.
Okay.
I buy cheaper, better assets. Okay, so check my channel. I made a thing called Pith versus Chainlink. A kind of a benchmark. And now just look at the chart. Go to TradingView. Actually, maybe CTO Larson can pull one up for us live. Pith
Yep.
USD divided by Chainlink. Start year to date, and you'll see the performance.
Sorry, I couldn't hear which one.
PYTH.
Pith.
Yeah, it's the new Solana Oracle, and it has more integrations, more connections, does way more transactions. Just go year to date. Well, you got to do Pith USD.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the point is, it's up like I think Pith is up 200% year to date.
There you have it.
Ignore the history. Just hit YTD at the bottom, and then you'll see the overperformance of sometimes when a new coin launches, it starts really high, and then the insiders sell off, etc.
Oh, that's interesting. It's so interesting to look at these ratios for sure.
There's a massive question for James specifically about Tesla. So, when do you expect Tesla growth rate to surpass MicroStrategy? 401k is 90% MicroStrategy. It's like that's your retirement, right?
Yeah, I've got my account. The biggest position I have right now by far is MicroStrategy, but it's because I did synthetic longs and they exploded. Like I'm in at like 190, very large position. So that's what happens. So this is the time for Bitcoin, but the biggest AI company in the world, like you think Nvidia is big, there's going to be a big one. That is Tesla. They have 11 different businesses that are all like investing in many trillion-dollar startups. Okay, there's 11 of them, and the company is going to have its ChatGPT moment. But the problem is, the persona non grata on the face of planet Earth is Elon Musk. He's hated by media. He's hated by all the people that pay media. But it'll have the ChatGPT moment. I believe FSD in the US is 99% there. And there'll be many other things. The bot will be huge. Just look at the valuations of the bot companies that are starting up right now and the money they're pulling in from Jeff Bezos and other players. I mean, they will have the best bot on the planet because their brain of their bot is the best and their manufacturing prowess is the best. You put those two things together, it's game over. So
I have a question to you, James. Is Tesla keeping the AI business in Tesla? Sorry,
yes.
is Elon Musk keeping the AI business in the Tesla company? Or
it's a weird thing happened in the US with the court system. It just shows you how corrupt governments and courts are in a state called Delaware. I'm not going to get into that right now, but he needs to have his comp plan to be confident with at least 25% shareholding of the company so that nefarious actors can't come in and take over Tesla and create a bot army to do bad things to the planet. Elon Musk is very concerned about the power of AI and AGI and bots and things like military applications. So he wants to make sure he has a controlling say in the company. So the comp plan needs to be done first. But he also knows they're making investments in data centers. They're making investments in silicon, a thing called Dojo chip, which is optimized for training. It's not a graphics chip that's pivoted to training. This one is built from the ground up to be optimized for training. They have that, and it's looking really good from the insiders I talk to, and so many other things.
And that's happening in Tesla. It's not. It's not going to be a different company or something like that.
There is Grok within X, but it said that the Tesla cars will soon have Grok working in the cars. And what's very powerful about Elon Musk is all his companies synergize together. So SpaceX builds metals that make the Cybertruck bulletproof. The new Roadster will be the fastest car on the planet because of SpaceX technology. They have a company called Boring Company that's building a tunnel at Giga Texas to be able to transport vehicles underground, stuff like that. So, but all of the AI stuff will remain within Tesla as long as he gets his comp plan, which I think is a good certainty. And back to the doc intern question, we have to wait for that ChatGPT moment, which will hit, but it'll hit sometimes in the next 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months. We're not sure when, but right now it's Bitcoin's time. As Bitcoin hit another new all-time high, 72,767. Incredible.
Oh, yes, guys.
Tesla is at support now. That could be worth noting also.
Guys, on this note, thanks a lot for being here. There was some more question about Compound Coin, whether it's going to go to all-time high. Listen, I would say all coins have the chance to go to all-time high. If they don't, the tokenomics are bad. You'll have to look into it. But also use the money line or the CTO Larson line to see the trend. If it's up, chances are good. But I don't know the details about that. On this note, thanks a lot for being here, everyone who's been watching. We're almost at 5K, 4.8 almost. So that's great. Bitcoin all-time high and we're at 4.7. That's fantastic. When Bitcoin is 100K, likely we are at 10K as the market is grows. Thanks a lot for all the questions. Thanks a lot for all the donations as well with questions. And yeah, anything from you guys before we end, James and CTO?
What a day! Amazing.
What a year.
Crazy
year and
guys.
a half. It's madness. And
Subscribe
stay healthy,
to-
everybody.
Subscribe to CTO and James. Next week we're on CTO, and goodbye, guys. Goodbye.
Peace out. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.